He never expected to see her again. Not here, not now, and certainly not like this. The mall was bustling, holiday music echoing through the corridors, families carrying bags of gifts, teenagers laughing loudly, and couples walking hand in hand. But all of that faded when his eyes landed on her. It had been years since he last saw her, years filled with bitterness, regret, and failed attempts to move on. Back then, she had nothing. Just a small apartment, a part-time job at a cafe, and dreams bigger than her circumstances. And he thought he was helping her, in his own misguided way. He had pushed her, scolded her, and eventually walked out of her life, thinking she would fail without him. Now, she walked past him in the glittering mall corridor, radiant and confident. Her designer coat shimmered under the lights, and her every step exuded a calm, undeniable power. His heart skipped. He didn't recognize her at first. She was no longer the fragile, unsure girl he had left behind. She was a woman transformed, the kind of woman he had underestimated. And then he saw it, the ring on her finger. Not just any ring, a diamond the size of a small moon, glinting in the light, a testament to wealth he could never have imagined for her. His jaw tightened. This was the moment he had subconsciously feared, even if he never admitted it. Unable to control himself, he strode forward, his anger bubbling beneath the surface. "I can't believe this," he barked, catching her attention. "You've changed. Who do you think you are now?" She turned, and for the first time, their eyes met. There was recognition, but no warmth. Instead, there was calm, almost amusement. She raised an eyebrow and said nothing immediately, letting him fume. "You left me," he continued, his voice rising. "Do you know how many nights I worried about you? And this is how you repay me." The sound of his voice drew a few curious glances from passers-by, but she remained composed, perfectly still as if anchored by a force he had never possessed. He took a step closer, his hand gesturing wildly, and without thinking, he shoved her, hard. The push was meant to intimidate, to assert dominance, but it only revealed his weakness. Her reaction was instantaneous. She didn't stumble or cry. She didn't beg or plead. She looked at him with eyes that could cut through steel and said, quietly but firmly, that was a mistake. Before he could react further, a tall, impeccably dressed man appeared beside her. The subtle authority in his posture made the air around him heavy. "Are you done?" he asked calmly, his voice carrying a quiet threat. It was then that the reality hit him. She was not alone. The man standing beside her was her husband. Billionaire, world famous, exuding a quiet confidence that made it clear he could crush anyone who dared cross him. And suddenly, he understood the truth. She had moved on, far beyond his reach. The mall suddenly felt smaller, suffocating. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. He realized his petty anger and past arrogance were meaningless against the life she had built. She looked at him one last time, her expression unshakable. "I was abandoned once," she said softly, "but I learned something important. Strength comes from standing alone when no one else will support you." Then, as effortlessly as she had appeared, she walked past him, her husband's hand firmly holding hers. The crowd of shoppers parted around them like water, leaving him frozen, powerless. For the first time, he felt true shame, not embarrassment, not anger, but a deep, sinking regret. He had kicked her down when she was struggling, and now he saw what she had become without him. She hadn't needed him at all. She had thrived. As she disappeared around the corner, laughter and the clinking of shopping bags fading behind her, he was left standing alone in the middle of the corridor. The mall returned to normal. The music, the chatter, the laughter, but he could hear nothing. All he could think about was the woman he had underestimated, the woman he had tried to control, and the man she had chosen instead. He turned to leave, but the image of her smile, serene and triumphant, stayed burned in his mind. That day, he learned a lesson he couldn't forget. Some people are meant to rise beyond those who doubted them, and some mistakes can never be undone. And as the automatic doors slid open, letting in the winter air, he realized that life had dealt him a harsh truth. She was no longer his to affect, no longer the girl he thought he knew. She was powerful, independent, and finally, unstoppable. He walked away from the mall, smaller than before, carrying nothing but regret and the bitter memory of what he had lost. She, on the other hand, continued forward, laughing with a life that was once only a dream, but now, it was hers.